one day I woke up and said I could be an actor. I have no idea. I don't know why. I have no, I can't trace it. I mean, grammar school. I don't, I love movies, but I have no reason to become an actor. I had no background, nobody in my life, nobody in my family. So I just said that one day, and then I complained, and the holidays came, and I'm Italian, so you don't do anything during the holidays. And after the holidays came and went, I kept complaining, and she said, "Why don't you go study with Lee Strasberg?" And I said, "Who's he?" She was much more cultured than I was, and so I said, "Okay." So I went and I had an interview at the Lee Strasberg School, and the the uh, the receptionist at the time, who became a good friend, told me that she wanted me to go and go into a class right then. She didn't want me to leave, and I was an academician. So school starts on Monday, uh, chapter one, chapter two the next week, and by the end of 10 weeks, I'm an actor. I had no idea of ongoing learning or anything like that. So the next week, of course, this is laborious, but I'll go on.
No, it's
The
great.
next, the next week, Strasberg gave lectures at the Carnegie Hall. The next week, Strasberg, as I said, gave lectures in Carnegie Hall, and then you had two exercise classes, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. So I worked in New Jersey, lived in Brooklyn, worked in New Jersey. I was always going in the wrong direction in my life, So worked in Jersey, and I thought I would drive to Manhattan and get a parking space at 6 o'clock. That's how naive I was. But I did get a parking space at about 6:15 on 57th and 6th, which was a block from Carnegie Hall, which was incredible. So I walk up to Carnegie Hall, I get to the door, and I say, "What are you doing? This is ridiculous. You're just afraid of failure. This is not the path for you. You're going to tell everybody you're an actor, like as if it's something, something that's worthwhile." So I turned around and walked away. I started walking down the block, and I stopped at the little Carnegie Theater, which is no longer there. Just it was next to the Russian Tea Room, and I said, mathematics has led your life. You've never made a decision. You never made a decision. You've always gone along with the path that was chosen for you. Money for school and then jobs. I was in the computer field, and I have a math major and then a major in computer science. And I said, you never made a decision in your life. This may be a destiny. You may be kicking it right out the window. I said, you're right. This is a conversation I had. I remember it like I did it yesterday. And I turned around, walked back. I went in. I listened to Strasberg lecture. Next night, I went to an exercise class, method. I'm a method actor. And there were six people on a stage, apparently, from my naivete, apparently unaware of each other, which is insanity. And one guy was doing a pain exercise, an Asian actor, and I forget his name, but he had some success. And I leaned back and I said, "I'm home. This is where I belong." And that was about it. That night, Ed Covens was my first teacher, and he was a student of Strasberg, and I studied with Strasberg after that. But Ed was a burly, kind of reminded me of my father. And that night he asked me to get up and do an improv. I didn't know what an improv was. I didn't know what anything was. I was off the street. Now I was in a jacket and tie, and with short hair. And so I got on the stage, and he said, and with a black actress, and he said, "You're engaged, and the problem is her father doesn't like you." So all I could think of, we were sitting on a swing in Central Park, and all I can think of is my father should see me now, engaged to a black girl. That would really be fun. And so that, I didn't know what I was doing. And from there, I progressed, and I was in love with it from the minute I stepped into my first class, and I've never lost a passion for it. I still have it. I still love it. I still love the stage most of all, and I would do it. I would do it anywhere at any time, if I could, if I'm allowed to.
No, definitely. I mean, as far as the role of Patsy, I mean, just a tremendous role and very natural. Now it makes sense as far as how well your and why your performance was so well. with that experience, the method acting experience. And you mentioned Lee Strasberg. I believe that's the same school that Michael Imperioli went to. And
Yeah, Michael went there, and John Ventimiglia. They were classmates.
yeah, it's
Mikey. Well, I just did the Sopranos podcast, and
yeah,
Mikey always tells the story. I tell the story that I played his father in his first play, and After Certain Streets was the name of it. And he tells the story, but he said that he was a fan of Don't Go in the House when he was a teenager, and then all of a sudden here he is working opposite me as if it was a big deal. I said when I saw your audition, I knew you were destined for greatness, and he's a multi-talented individual, just so much talent, Mikey, and it's such a great individual too.
yeah, no, definitely some amazing talents have been produced from Lee Strasberg's acting school. And yeah, I know I did see the podcast, and he'd mentioned and also from other interviews that Michael Imperioli, plays Christopher in The Sopranos. He's mentioned fellow Sopranos castmates that have also gone there. So we're fortunate as fans that you guys kind of all went to the school and then ended up reuniting years later on such a good show. And it just makes sense now why everyone's performance was so good.
Yeah, yes, a lot of good performances and a lot of good actors.